Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. We're going to be doing Gill's bonus episodes today, all three of them. 3 episodes starting with episode 1. I'm kind of curious of what these are going to be. I liked one of Shelby's. I hope there's like an episode of Gill just being extremely embarrassed and cute, because he does the best cute and embarrassed voices out of all the characters, I think, in my opinion. Anyway, let's see. Episode 1. Yes. So, back in college, before, I guess he moved out, the washing machine rumbled. Is this where she, like, put too much detergent in? I sipped coffee in the tidy room, thinking about what happened earlier. Earlier, the whole room had been overflowing with bubbles. Yep. She had wanted to help with laundry, but used too much detergent, causing the accident. She looked adorable covered in bubbles. For the first time since living together, I felt truly awkward. I initiated a bubble fight in an attempt to mask my feelings, leaving the room engulfed in foam. That's a really funny image, actually. After cleaning up, we used our own bathrooms. I came out first and started the washing machine. I turned it off right when the bubbles spilled out and cleared it thoroughly. Once it was dry, I turned it back on. The machine was a bit old-fashioned but sturdy. It showed no signs of wear. I was relieved by its resilience. Meanwhile, I couldn't stop thinking about her. I never seen her smile so brightly. Just recalling it made me happy. There was that surprised face when the bubbles decorated her, and that bashful expression after she realized her mistake. That sulking face she made when I threw bubbles at her, and her playful smile when she threw some back. All of her reactions were adorable. I believe I'd remember this day for years. Her eagerness to help with laundry was just so sweet. Even though I assured her that I'd handle everything, she felt guilty doing nothing. She always gave household chores her all. She observed everything and tried to copy what I did. She imitated my way of doing chores. Her effort was so genuine that I felt the urge to look after her even more. Seeing her engulfed in bubbles was heartwarming, so much that it felt dangerous. Had it been appropriate, I'd have embraced her right then. I was sure she'd have a lovely scent, and it wouldn't just be from the bubbles. I shook the fantasies from my head, feeling my cheeks warm just from the thought. I'd been like this for a while. All I did was think about her, making it impossible for me to focus on anything. I knew that I had changed ever since I met her. I could tell that she was changing too. I glanced towards her room. She was over at the second bathroom. She seemed to like taking long baths, double the length of mine. Her first day was so much trouble. She stayed near me to learn all the basics. I taught her that men and women usually didn't bathe together, but I wasn't sure if she truly understood why. She was the type who believed men and women could bathe together just because she saw it in a movie. Don't take advantage. She definitely would. She would believe and follow everything I suggested to her, as if they were the laws of the world. Could it be because we were closer now? It felt risky that she would follow me without a second thought, but that was so cute.
なんであんなに無防備なんだよ。
If I kissed her and said that it was a greeting, she might believe such a custom existed.
いや、さすがにそこまで世間知らずじゃないとは思うけどさ。
She watched a lot of movies, so I didn't think she would get tricked by that kind of lie, I hoped. But there were instances where she believed in every word I said. I had heard her say, "If you say so, Gill," plenty of times. She was so cute that I didn't know what to do.
ああやって信じてもらえるのは嬉しいけどさ。
I hadn't known so much joy could come from placing their trust in me so much. Maybe that was why she was all I could care about right now.
ほんと、かわいいよな。
I found myself thinking about her past expressions. It was only recently that she began to smile so genuinely. She was candid, innocent, and often threw caution to the wind, but occasionally she was reserved. She trusted me, and I was happy seeing proof of that.
でも、まさかあの子が洗濯物に挑戦するなんて思わなかったな。
I was the one washing her dirty laundry until now. Today she gave it a shot, although she failed spectacularly, it was a big step forward. I felt a mix of pride and sadness witnessing her growth. There was a part of me that wanted to always look after her.
あれ？俺何考えてるんだよ。
I tried dismissing the thought, but maybe it reflected my true feelings.
参ったな。
Glancing up at the ceiling, I came face to face with emotions I hadn't felt before. Living with her had unveiled a side of me I hadn't known, or had it always been there. Phew, that felt great. Did you start the washing machine again?
うわー
I almost fell out of my chair when I heard her voice. What's wrong?
なんでもないよ。そうそう、洗濯やっといたんだ。だからもう大丈夫。
I tried to play dumb as I turned back around. I almost cried out loud again. She looked so cute as she came right out of the bath.
なんでこんなに可愛いの？もしかして天使？
Gill?
え？
Huh? You looked even cuter somehow, definitely cuter than before she'd taken a bath. What was this? How did this work? In my eyes, she seemed to sparkle. It was like I was in love.
じゃ、まさかそういうこと？
I was so shocked that I froze in place. But it was true that she looked incredibly cute. I couldn't take my eyes off her. Gill, what's wrong?
なんでもないよ。それより俺レポートしようかな。
Oh, I should work on my assignment too. I have a psychology report due next week.
え？
Oh, is that bad? She seemed a bit dejected by my reaction. My head felt like it was spinning and I shook it quickly.
いや、ダメじゃないよ。うん、一緒にやろっか。
Okay.
その顔はずるいよ。
She seemed so disheartened by my initial reaction, but now she was happy. Knowing we'd work together, my heart raced.
まずいってこれ。ちゃんとしなきゃ。ルームシェアしてるんだから。
Falling in love with a roommate would make things awkward. I tried to focus as I pulled out references from my report. But catching her glance at my work from the side made my heart flutter. I couldn't concentrate and time seemed to fly. I ended up exhausted. That was adorable. Is that when Gill fell in love for the first time?
じゃあ今日はもう寝よっか。
Thanks for the help, Gill. I learned so much.
それならよかった。
Good night, Gill.
うん。おやすみ、リネット。
You're so funny, Gill. When I entered my room, I jumped onto my bed.
まずい。かわいすぎるよ。
He's having a really tough time. She looked cuter than she had the day before, and even cuter than 2 days ago. And ever since I saw her covered in bubbles today, I felt like I was enchanted. I spent all of my time with her until today. I buried my face in my pillow, realizing I couldn't keep cool.
教えてくれてありがとうか。
I showed her how to draft a report and use the washing machine, but I wondered which she was referring to. I remember another time she seemed thrilled after I taught her something. It was when I'd explained how to take a bath properly. I know she just like randomly came in on you.
Ah, まずいまずいまずいよ。
I wanted to get out and run, but if I left, she might worry what I was doing. At this rate, my face would be burning forever. No way I could go to sleep.
こうなったら、そうだ、ホラー映画を見よう。
That's funny. I grabbed my tablet and browsed my collection of horror films. There were titles like The Hereditary and Glittering and Zombie Bazaar. I thought a horror movie might calm me down. I started Zombie Bazaar, but I couldn't focus. I couldn't stop thinking about her and was unable to pay attention to the movie at all. Stay awake all night. I heard birds at the end. That was funny. That was cute. That was what I was expecting. He might be like this in all of them. We'll see. Alright, episode 2. After I taught her how to take a bath, we're still on this. That's funny. When I got out of the bath, I collapsed after seeing her out there. She wore only a t-shirt, appearing lost. I asked if something was wrong, and she said she'd forgotten her pajamas. That's why she had borrowed one of my larger t-shirts and wanted to check if it was okay with me.
だからって、これはまずいって。
And isn't there something about guys and having their women in like their t-shirts is like a turn on or something? Or really attractive? The most awkward part was that she had nothing on under the t-shirt. I think I remember this in one of the other chapters at the beginning. She brought only one pair of underwear, following her aunt's advice to wash and reuse it. That's why she didn't have a change of clothes after her bath. She found my t-shirt, but it didn't know what to do.
これ、俺、誘われてるってわけじゃないよな。
I took a cautious glance at her to make sure I wasn't reacting the wrong way. She obviously looked troubled, fidgeting with the hem of the t-shirt apologetically.
これ、素だよな。
I know, right? She's too innocent. It wasn't intentional, and she wasn't making a move. She genuinely lacked common sense and didn't know what to do. I decided I should quickly do the laundry to provide her with some clothes.
じゃあ俺、コインランドリー行ってくるから。
I thought you had a washing machine. Thank you. I held the laundry bag while turning away to avoid looking at her so much. Looking at the clock, I realized it was getting late.
いや、そもそもそうだ。別に起きてる必要ないや。
Without looking at her, I gestured towards her room.
それよりさ、先に寝ててもらえるかな。
Huh? But I feel bad. You're doing the laundry for me. She was oddly consensuous. I assumed she came from a rich family that lived in a big mansion or something. She didn't seem aware of the risks. I wanted to get her to bed as soon as possible. I felt relieved that I was the only roommate here while I cleared my throat.
いや、洗濯と乾燥があるから結構時間もかかるし、待たれてる方が落ち着かないから。
Really?
そうだよ。ほら、それに俺待ってる間に大学のレポート書いてるから大丈夫。気にしないで。だから先に寝てて。あと、君は家から出ちゃダメだからね。
Go to bed. Okay.
絶対 対外に出ちゃダメだよ。その格好で窓の外も見ちゃダメだから。じゃあ行ってきます。
Oh my goodness. Take care. That's funny. Don't go outside and don't go to the window and go to bed. I left in a rush. Upon reaching the laundromat, I quickly loaded the machine, trying not to dwell on the details. Once the machine was running, I sat down and sighed deeply.
焦った。
That face, man. This is the CG weekend. That's pretty funny.
本当に焦った。
I was so anxious that I'd nearly forgotten how to talk. Too many things happened and it was making my head explode. I didn't have the mental focus to do my report. When I put out an ad for a roommate, the new roommate was supposed to be a guy called Mike. But when I was waiting for the new roommate, the person that actually showed up was a girl called Lynette. That was surprising enough, but she didn't know how to take a bath or how to act in front of men. Clearly, she lived a sheltered life, possibly having run away from home.
え？というか、どういうこと？俺、これからあの女の子とルームシェアするの？
He just noticed. Now that I was alone, the reality of the situation sank in.
いや、別にロサンヨークでは男女のルームシェアも普通だって聞いてたけどさ。
I was certain my ad specified male roommates only. I doubted my ability to live with a girl.
ボルトモアではあんまルームシェアしてる人見なかったし。
Everyone had known one another since childhood in that neighborhood, although my high school friends still lived at home. It was a laid-back port town, not many outsiders came, and families had stayed there for generations. That was why living with friends or strangers wasn't part of the culture.
でも、ロサンヨークは違うんだもんな。
College friends often roomed together regardless of gender. It wasn't about romantic relationships, it was just how things were. Despite that, I wasn't comfortable with the idea, so my ad was for male roommates only.
それなのに、あんな可愛い子が来ちゃうなんて。
On top of that, she was unlike any girl I'd ever met. Back in Baltimore, I'd been with assertive upperclassmen and classmates at events like the Oyster Festival. I wasn't inexperienced around girls.
なんでこんなに落ち着かないんだろう。
Maybe it was her innocence that made her different from any other woman I've met. She didn't view me as a man. She seemed utterly unaware of her femininity. I never encountered someone so pure. I felt a compulsion to ensure she was safe, to shield her from potential harm. Previously, everyone had treated me as the pampered son of a company president. Suddenly, the role was reversed, and I found myself wanting to protect someone else for the first time.
というか、お風呂も洗濯もわからないとなると、料理もできないよな、きっと。
Tonight I prepared dinner under the excuse of making a welcoming meal. In reality, I was still trying to understand her innocence. Many roommates I knew lived independently, preparing their own meals. I thought I should prepare food for her, or at least teach her how.
あ、夜ご飯に食材使っちゃったから買ってかないと。そういえば3番街に24時間やっているスーパーがあったっけ？で、いやいや、面倒見る気満々じゃん俺。ダメだよ。大学のみんなはもっと自立したルームシェアをしてるんだし。でもあの子も初めてのルームシェアで不安だろうし。
Remembering her confused expression, I felt a newfound responsibility.
明日の朝ごはんぐらいいいよな。それで朝食後にこれからどうするかきちんと話し合って。
A friend told me that you have to decide beforehand on how to divide up the costs and household chores with roommates.
まあ家事は別に俺好きだしどんどんやるけど。
When I was at home, the maids did everything for me, but I liked doing it, so I always helped out. I learned how to make the crab cake mixes and also how to wash dishes until they were spotless from the maids. Thanks to that, I was able to live alone.
だから次は俺が教える番だよな。
After thinking about it, I realized that I was looking forward to teaching her. It was probably because she was so cute and she tried her best to learn how to take a bath or how to clean.
ダメだよあれを思い出すのは。
My thoughts shifted back to her in just a towel I covered my red and neat face.
本当これからどうなるんだろう。
I taught her the basics of bathing, so awkward moments shouldn't be possible. But who knew what she'd do next? I needed to prepare myself.
あ、早く帰らなきゃ。
Even though I told her to go to bed, I felt uneasy that she was out of my sight. I glanced up, hoping that the wash would be done soon, and then a realization struck me.
そうだった。あの子の下着を洗っていたんだった。
Yes, you have to handle it. I saw something spinning that was obviously not mine. I felt too embarrassed to look and turned away. I remember when she thought that like his underwear was a cloth or something, and he was like, "No, that's my underwear." Give it back.
まずいって人の下着を見ちゃ。
Actually, I didn't care about the other dryers because I didn't know the people who owned those clothes. But the dryer in front of me was different. It belonged to the girl that came into the doors in my home today. Oh, it's today. This is day 1. Normally, I didn't care about waiting for the laundry to be done, but today the wait was agonizing. Oh, poor Gill.
はあ、ようやく終わった。
After the washing and drying was finished, I left the laundromat. I realized it was getting pretty late now. I sprinted back to 3rd Avenue, picking up ingredients for tomorrow's breakfast. All the shopping felt like it took forever. I suddenly felt fatigued and dragged my feet as I looked up at the sky.
あの子、寝てるよね。
I really hoped she was. Facing her now would be too awkward.
こんな調子で、明日からルームシェアできるかな。
No, I should be able to. I had to. I needed to work on it. I was the only one she could depend on.
そうだよな。あの子だって初めてのことで不安に思ってるかもしれない。俺がしっかりしなきゃ。
Thought of all the men in my hometown who looked out for me, that gave me the courage to do what I had to do. I'd be like a protective big brother to her starting tomorrow. I was only a year older, but I had more experience living on my own. I resolved to get back quickly. I leave her freshly laundered clothes by the door and start preparing for tomorrow's breakfast.
よし、よし、やるぞ!
Holding the shopping bag filled with groceries and the laundry bag, I dashed through the streets. At that time, I didn't know that I'd continue handling all of her laundry, including her underwear, until she finished college. That's funny. Episode 3. I wonder if they're going to be together in this one. Yes, okay. On the evening we discussed our wedding plan, she curiously glanced around the room. Her eyes sparkled when she noticed the phone on my desk. Oh, is this you when you were a child, Gill?
見つかっちゃったな。
The photo she held showed the first time I made a car that I was proud of. The picture was of me as a child standing with the original Bubble Pig prototype. That's cute. How old were you?
確か10歳ぐらいの頃だったかな。
Wow, 10 years old, huh? She smiled gently, seemingly reflecting on my past. Seeing her from the side, I found her irresistibly charming. I walked over and embraced her. Whoa, what's the matter?
幸せだなって思ったんだ。この頃の俺に教えてあげたいよ。子供の頃にこれに出会えたから今の俺がいるんだって。あの頃の時間があったから君を空から連れ去れたんだって。
Oh, that's such an adorable line. That day, 14 years ago. 14 years ago. I was laying down on the Lovecraft family's private beach near my workshop.
ああ、なんか最近つまんないな。
I stopped tinkering with cars as a hobby and simply gazed at the sky. I could see some seafowl out in the distance. Birds naturally took to the skies, just as I naturally fiddled with cars, at least until the previous month. Recently, the thrill was gone. Everything felt mundane.
俺どうしちゃったんだろう。昔はあんなに車好きだったのに。
Lately, the childhood passion I once had seemed to diminish. Not that I still loved cars. At the very least, I loved cars more than any of my friends at school. But remembering how passionate I used to be only frustrated me further. The enthusiasm that once kept me up all night modifying cars was gone. Reflecting on this, I sighed deeply. And that's kind of how I feel about art. Like, I used to draw every single day in high school, and I even went to school and got a degree in art. And now I'm staying at home and making YouTube videos. But whatever.
おや、ギルボッちゃん。そんなところで寝てどうなすったんですか？
A familiar face blocked the sun's ray. It was a man from the car workshop I'd contacted for parts.
おじいちゃん、どうしてここにいるの？
どうしてはないでしょう。ギルボッちゃんに頼まれてたパーツを運びに来たんです。
His words jogged my memory. Weeks ago, I had asked the old butler to place an order for my current car project. It was only a few weeks ago, but I forgot all about it. That just made me even more depressed.
ごめん、ありがとう。そこに置いといてもらっていいかな。
はいはい。ギルボッちゃん、何かあったんですかい？
え？なんで？
いつもならパーツが届いたらすぐに飛びついて検品なさるでしょ？置いといてなんてギルボッちゃんらしくない。
I frowned upon hearing that. I was all too aware that I wasn't myself. Though I had changed, I couldn't help speaking out in defiance.
それがさ、俺、スランプになっちゃったみたいなんだ。
はい？
I explained my worries. To my dismay, the man burst into laughter.
10歳でスランプとは。ギルボッちゃんも大人になりましたな。
ひどいよ、笑うなんて。俺、本気で悩んでるんだからね。
すんません。いや、バカにしてるわけじゃないんでさ。ただ本当、大人になったと思いましてね。
本当かな。
I felt like he was still treating me like a child, so I shot him a sidelong glance. Once he stopped laughing, he patted my head.
いやいや、私にも昔そういう頃があったもんで、つい懐かしい気持ちになったんですよ。
え、本当？おじさんにもあったの？
ええ、そうですとも。だからギルボッちゃんもそうした年頃になられたのだと思いましてな。
じゃあ、いつかこのスランプってなくなるのかな？
そうですな。それはギルボッちゃん次第でしょうな。
俺次第？
人によって違うんですよ。また情熱を取り戻す人もいれば、このまま別の熱中できるものを見つける人もいます。
A new passion became video games.
別の？
ええ、世の中には素晴らしいものがたくさんあるんです。車や洋服に音楽や飛行機、なんだってある。それこそ恋なんてものもありますな。
You can get into love. Is that a hobby? Is that what he said? New passion. Love is his new passion. I mean, it is.
ギルボッちゃんもいつか愛する人に出会って、それ以外には何もいらなくなる時が来るかもしれませんよ。
そんな恋できるのかな？
Thoughts of my father made me even more depressed. My father was always away because of work, traveling globally. I hadn't seen him in 6 months. Because of him, my mother always seemed a little lonely. I grappled with wanting a great romance and fearing becoming like my father. I promised never to be like my father. I thought if I had ever made someone feel lonely, I wouldn't date at all.
と、恋の話はギル坊ちゃんにはまだ早すぎましたかね。
そんなことないよ。俺もう10歳になったんだから。
そうでしたな。スランプになるぐらいですからね。
そうだよ。ああ。俺、このまま車が作れなくなっちゃったらどうしよう。
I glanced at the newly arrived parts inside. The man paused, then reached into his pocket.
なら、坊ちゃんにこれを差し上げますよ。
これは？
実はこれ、上映が今日までなんですが、急な仕事が入っちゃって行けそうにないんですよ。よかったら坊ちゃん、行ってみませんか？
He handed me a ticket for transfer cars.
トランスカーズ？
ギル坊ちゃんはもう大人になりましたからね。たまには一人で映画もいいでしょう。
I'm sorry, I wouldn't let my 10-year-old go to a movie theater.
一人で映画？
The idea sounded uniquely mature. I felt like I was truly growing up.
行きたい！
I know. My 17-year-old thought she was growing up when she turned 10 too. She's like, double digits. I'm an adult. I'm a 13-year-old. I'm basically a teenager. I'm like, you're 3 years away from a teenager. And it's been like that ever since.
ならよかった。ぜひ今度感想を聞かせてください。
I say 17-year-old. She's going to be 17 in June, but she thinks she's already like an adult, and she calls her sisters children.
ありがとう、おじちゃん。
Wait, why did his voice change? I'm so confused. I held the movie ticket. Normally I'd watch movies with my mom or brother. Today I was alone.
あら、ギル坊ちゃん。今日はお一人なんですか？
That's funny, this movie theater looks a lot like the same one in Lost York. I handed over the ticket and the familiar staff member looked surprised. I felt a surge of pride at his reaction and nodded.
そうだよ。もう大人だからね。
I entered the theater as previews played. Transfer cars, not the type of film I usually watched. I wondered what it would be like. As the movie logo appeared, I was immediately drawn in. The cars transformed.
バンブルピック、ついに追い詰めたぞ。今度こそ逃がしません。
Is this whole episode going to be about his past?
うわー。
The car morphed into a robot battling villains to save the world.
すごい、すごい、すごい、すごい。
The story setting was difficult to grasp, but I recognized every car that appeared. All my favorite cars defended the world, fighting to protect the people they loved. I thought cars were cool just for driving on the road, but this movie showed them in a different light. The mechanics behind their transformations and intricacies of their parts exceeded my expectations. This was a world I never knew. Yay.
それでこんなに車好きになっちゃったんだよな。
I overcame my slump and began designing a car like the one in Transfer Cars. As the movie ended, I rushed home and sketched endless blueprints as if tomorrow would never come. The following day, my enthusiasm led me to draft a review about the film and share it with the man in the workshop. Then I ordered more parts. The old butler got mad at me for spending too much. I was cut off from my allowance for years after that, but I remembered it fondly. That's funny.
でもあの時があったから、あの映画との出会いがあったから、俺はこの子を取り戻せたんだ。
I can feel the intensity of my love in my arms. Lynette Lovecraft, the girl I loved, the goddess that I had kidnapped with my car.
ティネット、愛してるよ。
I was thinking, kidnapped. I was thinking goddess as metaphorically, but it's not metaphorically. I forgot she's Cupid. Gill. Closing her eyes, she nestled into my embrace after seeing my smile. I couldn't look away from her beautiful and loving face. I remember how that man said nothing else mattered when you find the right person to love.
もうとっくにそうなってるよ。
I caressed her cheek and drew her closer to me.
愛してるよ。絶対に。これからも俺が君を守るから。
We kissed and hugged again, and her smile brimmed with joy. Parasite held a special place in my heart, and I'd also won over my true love. I could become invincible when I combined all the things I loved, and with that in mind, I kissed her again. That was cute. Well, that's all of Gill's, I was gonna say after story. Well, that's all of Gill's bonus episodes today. Like I said in the previous episode, we're going to be doing Marion and Slevin next. So I'm actually quite excited for that because it's something different. It's not an after story anymore. It's a new blossoming romance, and I think from what I read in the review, it's kind of lackluster, but it seemed forced. But we'll see. I'm not going into it thinking about it too much or looking at any spoilers. So because I like to develop my own opinion on these things. Anyway, if you guys enjoy, drop a like down below and or subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.